The Digivolution is up and running. Did you see? Did you hear? Did you know what's coming? A Digi Destiny starts today. Let me hear you say.
Hello everyone and welcome to Lost in Translation Mon, where we compare the Japanese version and the English version of Digimon. This week we watched Digi Baby Boom,
which is Adventure, Patamon and I,
and The Legend of the Digidestined,
or Angemon Awakens.
First of all, for Postman Pat, we have some messages. One says, I'm enjoying this podcast, especially with the different opinions from a long-time fan and a reluctant newbie, since that makes it fun. And then they say that the only constructive criticism they have is the music in the end is very loud, so we're going to make it a bit softer this week. And then they say, otherwise, I'm enjoying the sub-dub comparisons. Alas, poor Moo, what did the dubbers do to you?
They created a monster is what happened.
And the other one says, hi, in the last episode you mentioned the rumor that Digimon was only meant to be 13 episodes at first in Japan, but that's a myth. The series was always meant to last 1 year and episodes are made months in advance. So they wouldn't have time to make new episodes once they realized it was popular. What did happen is that the writers didn't plan the whole series in advance, and so each arc is a self-contained story. When they wrote the first arc, they had no idea what would happen later. Thank you so much for telling us. Like, if we do ever say something that isn't right or is just a myth or whatever, just please tell us, because that is good, because I always, thought that myth was right. Obviously a myth, but that's fine. So thank you for telling us.
There is a lot of guesswork that goes on in this show, especially on my part. And yeah, I got the feeling watching one of the episodes today that, yeah, this felt like it was meant to be 13 episodes. What is it, 54? How did that happen?
Yeah, like, I do like the arcs, like how they have, like pretty much all series of Digimon are like that. Like, they have a big long series, but it can be basically broken up into smaller parts, and I do like that. Like, I think it could have ended in 13, but yeah, it's the fact that they wrote each arc as a self-contained story is pretty good.
I mean, I don't think it's a great idea to write your story and kind of have no idea where you're going with it.
It works though for Digimon. Well, I think it works.
Perhaps, but you do get weird issues. It's like, oh no, we're half brothers. Oh no, wait.
Yeah, that's the English version.
Well, that's the thing. In the English version, they would have seen the first, basically season of the show.
I think actually the English people were pretty much writing translations for it as it came out in Japan. Like, I think it was pretty closely, like, I think there was only a few months difference, so I think maybe they hadn't gotten that far in the Japanese version, and they were just sort of shipping off the ones to the translators, but that could be wrong. Anyway, so on to our next segment. I will show you Digiworld, and I'm not going to sing that this week because my throat really hurts.
I appreciate that. Mine does too. I was at a concert last night. It was very loud.
And I'm just a huge nerd.
Well, you are.
Anyway, so Jay, do you wanna tell us what you witnessed this week?
This week I witnessed a video of a song. I think it was a song about kids in America, and it was this complete garbage 2-frame animation. I don't know. It was fairly mediocre as the song goes. And it goes, I think it's the Kids in America by Len from Digimon. And I'm like, what? And then I realized it was Len from Digimon the movie. I'm like, alright, cool. That makes a lot more sense. I preferred it as Len from Digimon. I wish that was the band's name, because they would have had to commit.
I like the Green Goblin guy who just sort of wobbles out and with a drink. And also the Greymon who tries to steal one of the band members' popcorn.
I got really distracted, I'll be honest. Like, it very much struggled to keep my attention on it.
I just thought it'd be funny to make him witness that, because I recently got the Digimon movie on DVD, so I was watching that and I noticed there were special features, so I watched that and I was like, hey, I remember this. I wonder what Jay would think if I forced him to watch this.
It would have been a lot better if it had like a main, like, singer girl or whatever, where she was replaced with that Brazilian, like, host.
Angelica?
Yeah, that'd be amazing.
Angelica should be in all forms of Digimon entertainment. I hope Angelica is a character in Digimon Tri. In the Digimon Tri commercial that we saw, I'm pretty sure the girl with glasses under the bridge is actually Angelica, confirmed for Tri.
They should try to get her for Tri.
I get it. Anyway, so if you want to send us any questions or maybe suggestions for I Will Show You Digiworld, like, I do have some in my brain, but if anyone else has any suggestions, that's fine too. You can email us at lostintranslationmon@gmail.com, or you can find us on Twitter, Tumblr, Facebook, at which is Lost in Translation Mon, The Will, and all our episodes are on SoundCloud, so you can send us a message on that as well. So first of all, Digibaby Boom. I thought this episode was really cute.
I mean, cute's one way to put it, and it's not wrong, but this is it. It took one step forward of like it's a well put together like sets of animation, um, and a fairly interesting character introduction, but also a million steps backwards of oh my god, we're in that bizarre nonsense that it's completely out of nowhere and has a trillion plot holes.
So the start of the English version was narrated by Sora, and she says, "Our little group decided to explore these new islands." And I was like, "No, you didn't decide on this. You were forcibly separated. This wasn't your choice. These islands are actually bits of one island, but you definitely did not decide to explore anything."
Well, look, they had two choices. They had either could explore the island or they could have just sit there and died.
Yeah, but it's just like, they were forcibly separated. Ah.
Just because you were forced to make a decision doesn't mean it wasn't a decision.
So we see TK in his bed. It's falling to the island, and he's just screaming in the Japanese version, which is fair enough. He's hanging on to the bed for dear life because he doesn't want to die. But of course, they wanted to make him sound like a little brat in the English version, and he's saying, "This is so totally not fair." And what's happening, Patamon, instead of just screaming?
And then he lands in the water and he's totally okay.
Yeah, and I'm not even sure if he did actually land in the water because it's referenced in the English version that they went for a swim or something, but it's not in the Japanese version. They're just near a waterfall.
It's true. And Patamon is giving Takeru the sickest super wedgie of all time. Like he thinks he's saving you. He's like, no. Patamon's like, nerd.
So then TK starts crying and Patamon starts crying because that's helpful. But he wants to evolve. He thinks, "Oh, I want to be like Biomon. I want to become Bergermon so I can fly away and
I,
protect TK."
I will say that it's interesting that that the Digimon that Patamon looks up to directly is Pyramon. I assume just because they both have wings.
Yeah, that's what I got from it.
But you skipped forward a little bit over something that makes absolutely no sense.
What's this?
There's Devimon on top of the mountain telling Leomon and Ogremon that they're huge failures.
Oh yeah, that.
But here's the question. How can they be failures if Takeru is only just getting lost now? Because at this time, everyone else should also just be getting lost. Ogremon should still be in the Amazon crate, attacking Joe on the ocean, and Leomon should still be in the temple.
Yeah,
Because that all happens in the daytime, and this is night when the kids were getting lost.
yeah, that makes sense. Maybe he's referring to being failures, as in when they're trying to murder them in the mansion.
I imagine that's possible. I don't know why they wouldn't have shown us that earlier then.
I think it's because we're reintroducing them, like Leomon and Devimon and Ogremon, for the next episode to say that that they done goofed. They're not doing a very good job at being bad guys.
It's true, they're really not. Devimon continues to be completely garbage, and he never redeems that. He never gets better at being a bad guy. All his plans are terrible.
Well, he's at least scary in the Japanese version.
It's true, you're not wrong. Because he actually likes to kill people rather than just bring them to me.
Yeah, and Leomon is really terrifying when he's being possessed because all he says is "kill the children. I have to kill the children. Must destroy the children."
Oh, we've got the conjecture about what Patamon will turn into.
Yeah, and it's a pigmon, hogmon, or which is actually just this Digimon and that Digimon because DK doesn't come up with the names in the.
My translation was probably like this mon.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah,
and I,
something like this mon and probably like that mon.
and I think that was my favorite part of the episode because it brings up the full like card screen.
Yeah, but it's a bit differently animated. Like it looks like a little 8-year-old drew it. It's really cute. And then in the English version, Patamon has the best line, which is, "I'm not a pig, TK." I thought that was so funny.
It's actually interesting. It's like, well, what is he? And maybe the kids like it's a pig with wings, which
Yeah.
would actually be a fun bit of design because it would be a pig that flies. Um,
I never got that.
well, that's if that's the case, right? Uh, and yeah, I thought that sequence was fun and like cute. It doesn't. It's really weird. The characters in Japanese it makes a little bit more sense, but in English, the whole they both start crying, and it makes it's done kind of out of nowhere. Oh, also the waterfall in English is a bathtub overflowing. Like,
I thought it just said it's like a bathtub overflowing.
no, because it might be a bathtub that's overflowing, but I don't think so. But yeah, that thought process I think is like too light and humorous to justify the instant turn to crying. Like both of them really don't transition very well.
Mm.
Um, and Patamon didn't learn anything about evolution in Digimon school. Also, Patamon's English voice is terrible.
I think it's kind of cute.
Oh, it's super annoying. Oh, and I forgot again another thing in the Devimon scene. Okamon, I, I don't know. Maybe it's assuming the timing of my first thought. Okamon goes like, "I can explain," and I'm like, "Yeah, I was in a box in the ocean. It was a flawless plan."
All right, so an invisible train goes past,
You
and
mean the world's silentest train?
but it still makes noise.
Yes, it does.
So anyway, so it just goes by, and nothing is said in the Japanese version. They just sort of look at the train. Well, they look for the train, but in the English version, TK says, "Hey, I hear a train coming. I bet you we can just jump on and ride the caboose all the way back to summer camp."
Caboose.
And then Patamon says, I felt something." And TK says, "Maybe it's an invisible train." And Patamon says, "Did a train go by?" And TK says, "If it did, it's the most silencest, most invisiblest train ever."
Well, it's definitely the most invisiblest, I'll be
Yeah,
honest.
definitely.
Doesn't even put a dent in the grass. That's a pretty good one, but it's not very silent.
Yeah, definitely. It definitely makes train noises.
Chugga chugga train noise. All right. And then they find the town.
Mm. And they start bouncing around.
Oh, here's a question.
Yeah.
Why are there two toy-based zones on this island? That's ridiculous. There are so many.
Well, this
Why?
isn't really toy based. It's for the children.
It's made of big like blocks.
Yeah, it's for babies.
Yeah, just like toys are.
No, but no, Toy Town was for toys. This is for baby Digimon.
And then yeah, so they find the babies pretty much.
Yeah, well, no, you're missing out the
Oh,
best
am
different,
I?
the best worst difference ever.
Yeah.
When they're laughing and Patamon Tico to say "what a scream" in the English version. I just found that really funny.
I didn't even catch that.
But the way they said it didn't seem like they were having a really good time. It seemed really forced.
What's I can't remember what the line in English was. I just remember what it was in Japanese. It's like bonsai, bonsai. He's
Yeah,
running around being really upset.
yeah. In Toy Town, they're saying "banzai, banzai," but that's because they're meant to sound like a robot because he's under control.
Yeah. And then so they're meeting the babies.
Yep. So we
Um,
see Botamon, Punimon, and Euromon, who's an old man with a beard in both versions.
yeah,
Like they kept the line about him looking like an old man with a beard.
that makes perfect sense. Um, and TK does the thing that I would do if I made a baby and just poke it right in the face.
Yeah.
Like,
So Botamon obviously evolves into Koromon, and Punimon evolves into Sunamon, and Euromon evolves into Tanemon.
oh,
Just so you know.
oh, obviously, yeah,
Yeah.
I would have.
So we only see the ones that have the partner Digimon. So then there's a little piece of paper, and he picks it up, and it says, "Please rub me." But it's in Japanese, right? It's definitely in Japanese. It's in hiragana. The English version says, "Oh, it must be written in digicode."
uh, well, look, Digicode still includes like English letters and numbers sometimes.
No, it doesn't.
On the wall of the big battery,
Yeah,
that
but that's not digicode.
isn't it?
No, digicode is the digicode.
I will take your tautological word for it.
But it's definitely not. It's
But
definitely not
hey,
Japanese.
we're aware now that the writers didn't look ahead, so they don't know what to confirm as yes or no.
So he starts rubbing it. Nade.
Look, we have to start asking some really important questions. A, do they need to be digi-eggs rather than just eggs? Second, who wrote the message about rubbing the eggs?
Oh no, Elecmon doesn't want anyone to touch their
If Elecmon
eggs.
if Elecmon wrote it, why is he reminding himself? And yeah, he doesn't want anyone touching it, so of
Well,
course not.
What about if it when the eggs come, like you know how when the eggs hatch, the bed shows up. What about if when the eggs arrive, the note shows up?
So are there notes next to all the eggs?
Maybe we don't see that.
No,
We
we
don't
don't.
see that's not.
It's not animated there.
Yes, but we don't know because we didn't see an egg arrive. So maybe it's the sort of it's like the afterbirth.
And I guess it couldn't have been anyone else writing it, because why would it say rub me? And not like rub them being
Well,
the eggs.
maybe when a Digimon dies, it becomes an egg. So maybe it's the Digimon who died left a little note to make sure it was born
Oh, and I
properly.
was gonna ask, like, who lays the digi eggs? I guess the answer is, I find out next episode, is that if you die, it's like a cycle of reincarnation.
Yeah, you're reborn. But I think Digimummies also give birth to Digibabies.
Well, where are they?
Oh no. Elecmon's a good Digimummy.
Well, wouldn't you have to evolve like fairly high to be able to be a Digimon? And don't and in certain cases, like Pyramon, wouldn't to become Birdramon and I assume be able to lay such an egg, wouldn't you need to have a kid with a Digivice around?
Well, no, as I've said previously, they can still Digivolve on their own without a partner. They just grow up. It's like their natural thing is to grow up and they become stronger, but it takes a lot of time and they have to endure hardships. That's why we see adults in the digital world like, you know, Centaurimon. It's evolved from somewhere, but only during like hardship or its own sort of growing up.
They keep mentioning Devimon as a baby or as an egg. I'm
Yeah.
wondering what kind of baby it would have been. And what's the evolution line of a Devimon?
Well, in the VPET, it goes Bottomon and then um, Koromon, and then you can have Agumon, and then you can get Devimon, or you can get Betamon and get Devimon.
What's Betamon?
Betamon is a Digimon that looks like a little green sort of froggy thing with a mohawk, with a green mohawk.
I think I know what that is. I think you showed me that before.
Yeah, I think I drew it once. It's pretty cool
Yeah,
looking.
that looks like the thing that would turn into the devil.
It's most common evolution is Seadramon or Airdramon, but it's most commonly Seadramon,
The devil.
the devil.
So yeah, we get introduced to Elecmon, who the description of him in the Japanese is a little bit weird. That it,
We forgot something
oh,
about how when the baby's born, we get a flashback of
oh yeah, yeah.
and which is just there's just like there's just sound effects of the harmonica playing, and he's building blocks, and we don't hear anything except for the music. But in the English version, they need to narrate it like, oh, this is me as a kid building blocks. Oh, I think I fell over, and then Matt helped me, so I had to explain the flashback.
I hate that so much. I hate that they think the Americans are so stupid that the very clear implication and all the stuff that was going on in that scene when it was silent, they'd never get it. You have to add all this extra stuff in there. Otherwise, they'll never understand.
I kind of liked the flashback though. I think it was kind of cute, and it showed that Yamato's always there for Tekeru, so he's kind of a good big brother.
It just showed me that he's been playing harmonica for ages.
Yeah. Um, don't we see in like the prequel that he's playing harmonica, or am I not imagining that properly?
In the prequel movie, I don't remember. I don't remember anything about it now. I'm glad.
We should watch it again.
No, the Japanese, they say that like, oh, he threatens people with his tail like a peacock, and then it instantly shows you that he shoots electric blasts at things. I
Yeah, like
feel
a
like that's a
peacock.
lot scarier.
Yes,
Like a peacock. Yep, they shoot electric blasts at stuff.
but something I noticed, and I'm not sure if this might be an error in my in the subs that I have,
Yeah,
but it said that he's an adult Digimon. He's not an adult Digimon. He's a child. Just to point that out.
I guess that makes sense considering the size of him.
Yeah, but I mean, you can have child-sized adult Digimon. That's fine. But Elecmon's has never been an adult Digimon, and
Well,
so like I'm I should have gone back and just tried to attempt to read the Japanese but it said the sub said adult, and that really annoys me because he's not an adult in
No,
any way.
new canon, it's over. Um,
Like maybe he's strong enough to be an adult because of like the hardships he's endured, but he doesn't want to evolve or anything.
so there are fish in the thing here, and I just realized now they're not digifish, they're just fish, right?
Yeah, they're boring grey fish. They're not like Goemon's marching fishes, which are like colourful fish.
So are there normal animals here? So this clearly normal fish exist,
Yeah, I'm pretty sure normal looking animals are there.
but why aren't they like this is a digi chicken? Because they have to distinguish digi egg and egg. They're so different. Why don't they call them digi fish?
I'm pretty sure they. I'm not sure if I'm remembering this correctly, but I think Goemon might have called his fish Digifish at one point in the English version.
Those ones would be all colorful and stuff, but I guess these silverfish not so much.
I think it's because Digimon are, they're intelligent. They're sort of like people, I guess,
Yes,
and and
monochromon, totally.
yeah, shush. And Goemon's fishes that he makes, they're his
He doesn't
friends.
make them. He went to their
He
school
calls them,
reunion.
yeah, okay. So they're his friends. So these fish, I think they don't want to disturb kids by thinking that they're eating other Digimon, or they're like we see in episode 2 when they've got fish and they're eating them, they're also boring fishes. They're not Goemon's colorful fish, and they're definitely not Digimon. So I think it's because that you don't want to disturb children. That, oh, you're eating Goemon's friends, or oh, you're eating a Digimon. That's almost like cannibalism, I guess.
I guess that's the classic Pokemon problem of like, well, I guess all food is made of Taurus and Magikarp.
No, people eat Farfetch'd in Pokemon.
Yeah, I know.
Like it's said, people like straight up just eat Farfetch'd. Isn't that far-fetched?
Uh, it's not far-fetched when they just say it. Um, so yeah, Elecmon shows up and like,
Euromon poops.
and Yermon poops.
And it stays in both versions. I thought it would just said, "Oh, I guess I'm gonna have to pick him up now." Like they actually kept it in the English version that, oh, he had an accident.
There was a lot of stuff that was just moved directly over, which is pretty good. Like that's really what your job should be as a localizer.
Yeah.
And they just toned it down a little bit to having an accident, but that makes sense in the context of a baby.
Mm.
It's not like, oh no, Noom sludge fell out of this baby.
Oh, there's a dessert underneath it. Like,
Oh,
oh, look, it's chocolate fudge. Like
no, it's yellow custard.
this episode is pretty like similar. Any like there's a line at the end that's an idiom that's only Japanese people would know. So they changed it to an idiom that English kids would know.
I thought the whole thing would start getting changed, but we'll get there. We'll get there.
Like this episode is pretty similar, except for the silence about the train and the silence when they're or the just screaming and the putting in lines. This episode's and also the digicode. The episodes on the whole is pretty like it's a good translation.
It's a,
Also the flashback that was dumb.
it is a lot more accurate a localization than we've gotten from most of the other episodes.
Maybe because Mimi's not in it.
Yeah, it's because we've really focused down on characters, I think,
Yeah,
and TK as a kid translates well into America.
yeah, because he acts like a kid, and kids understand that.
Hmm.
So then Elecmon comes along to punch gender roles in the face, and is their protector and their cooker and their cleaner, and is Elecmon's a dude, so I think that's pretty cool. He's punching the gender roles in the face.
Seems reasonable. Um, and with that said, you can feel the writers being like, well, we need a Digimon fight this episode. We
Mm.
need one. So how about we have Elecmon just act like a completely unreasonable. Yeah, I understand that his first instinct is to protect the kids, but they're in no danger.
But they could be, like, when if you're near like a bird's nest and the mum starts swooping you, like it's because it's saying, oh, you could be potentially endangering my babies. Like it's a
Sure, and then he attacks them once, and he shoots lightning next to the babies because that's always safe. And then he talks to them, and then they continue fighting over the word puffy in English.
So I think this is the first time that we've met a Digimon besides Sukamon and Shumon who isn't under Black Gear control,
No, we met
but is good.
Bakuman wasn't under Black Gear. But yeah, that they're good.
But Bakemon were just evil, and Sukamon and Shumon were just evil. This is the first like good Digimon.
And it,
But well, obviously we saw Kawagamon and Seadramon, but they weren't very intelligent and they tried to attack. Like this is the first Digimon that's not necessarily evil and can be persuaded.
mm, it's the first nice Digimon, which I guess tells you that even in the nice ones, they're still going to attack you.
Yeah, because they're still like they're protecting their babies.
Um, I just realized though,
Yeah.
they state that this is the place where all the babies come from, right?
Yep.
Am I right?
Yep.
Okay, if this is where all the babies come from,
Yep.
why wouldn't Devimon send the Black Gears here?
Good point. Well, maybe it's like in How to Train Your Dragon, like nothing can control the babs.
Nothing can control the Babs.
The babs.
Yeah, I don't see that. I think that I'm I think that that might have been a good plan. That is, I'm sure, well known because Devimon would have been born here too.
Yeah, I don't think Devimon's a very like intelligent villain.
No, he's not. He's super evil, but he's just bumbling around and not figuring it out.
Mm.
Um, uh, yeah, then they start fighting over the word puffy. Hmm, good job, English.
But they call them brats in the Japanese version. And then
And
we have sassy Patamon once they stop. Oh wait, no, we have Tekuru that says, "Oh, he's going to digivolve" in the English version because you can see that the level on the digivice is growing.
but he's not
So
looking at the level of the Digivice.
yeah, so that's just
A
we better
really
explain this to the children. But it almost seems like he stops them fighting because he doesn't want Patamon to digivolve.
No, he stops them fighting, and because he stops them, then he doesn't need to Digivolve anymore. That's what I got from it anyway.
Also, at some point, he mentions having a cat, and I'm pretty sure he doesn't have a cat.
I don't remember him mentioning it, and neither would I know if he actually does or does not have
It's
the cat.
yeah, it's a throwaway line in the English version. So then they stop fighting, and then Patamon picks up Poyamon, who evolves into Tokamon, who evolves into Patamon. Just so you know, and Patamon says, "Hey, did you Hey, did you guys know this? The ones who think that they're grown up are actually the biggest brats of all. Aren't they dumb?" And I'm just like, "Oh, Patamon's sassy," and he basically says the same thing in the Japanese version, in the
Completely
English version.
wrecked.
Yep.
And then there's something that I didn't think they'd be able to localize at all. They just have a sumo wrestle. I mean, kind of. It's a
Yeah,
tug of war.
they changed the reference to more of a Western wrestling one in this
Oh,
corner
that's
instead of
boxing.
to the east.
Yeah, it's they turned it from sumo to boxing, but I'm actually surprised how simple that localization was. Although, I mean, you beg really interesting questions, like where did Takeru get that outfit?
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. Like, where did they get all three of the outfits? Where'd you get everything?
And that's
Maybe
fine if you get like material and you make one. I don't know why they'd spend so long doing so, but it's just before the fight. But they do. Where did he get like the specific Japanese fan
maybe Elecmon had it for like dress ups.
for Elecmon cosplay? Is that the plan?
Elecmon likes cosplay. Didn't you know that? All Digimon love to cosplay.
I guess I wasn't aware of that.
Cosplaymon.
Is that a thing?
Actually,
I wouldn't be shocked.
there is a Digimon who looks like a man in a Garomon onesie. Betsumon. You need to look up Betsumon.
I'm looking it up now, and wow, that is Conventionmon. If I ever did see it, that's really gross. I would encourage you not to. I also have just discovered this other one, and I can't tell what its name is, but it appears to be an alien with a gun. It
What
has a
does it say?
giant brain. I don't know what it's called.
Oh, that's Vetamon.
There it is. Yeah,
Yeah, we see him later. Don't worry. You'll meet him.
that is absolutely disgusting. I don't want to meet that. Oh, that's gonna be my nightmares.
But not Betsumon.
No, because I've seen people like that, and I'm aware of them. But the alien with like six tentacles as legs, I'm like, no, no thanks, I'm good.
Wow, Betsumon and Omni Shoutmon. Did you cross?
You say Omni Shoutmon?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm looking this up, and I'm gonna be upset about it. I'm sure.
His name is actually Omega Shoutmon in the original, though.
It appears to be a giant golden V on top of the Terminator. All right, well that happened. Where were we in the episode?
But they were playing tug of war.
Yeah, so obviously Patamon wins with the power of cheating. He's powered up by the Digivice. He instantly is cheating.
Yeah, but in the English version, I found that they also add voices and a butt wiggle that Patamon makes. They add a sort of wing wing sort of noise when he wiggles his bum when he's trying to pull the rope. And they add like voices about how they have to win, and it's not there in the Japanese version.
No, they do. Or at least they have the one line each anyway.
Also, do you want to see Betsumon cosplaying as Angemon?
I don't know. I don't think I do. I
Because
assume I have to.
in Cross Wars the the hunters who leapt through time, there's an episode where Betsumon comes into it.
I'm looking for it now. Oh, and there it is.
I just sent it on Skype.
Oh God. And there's another one which appears to be something from All Star Rumble. There's supposed to be a Digimon of some description with like it looks like a cat girl with like red hair and like all this jewelry.
Is that Bustemon? She looks like a belly dancer.
That's the one, and apparently he dresses her once.
Yep, he dresses as a lot of one, as also Spoilermon, as in character you have yet to meet Mon.
Oh well, I'm not gonna look it up then.
I mean, you've seen him on my poster though.
This is a terrible character, and I hate them.
Betsumon's the best Digimon. Anyway, we should probably get on with the show.
He's the best Stumon.
Best Dumon. Oh my god, why?
Right. All right. Yeah. Continue on.
So yeah, they stop fighting and they get along, and the idiom is said about I think the English one is you can't judge a book by the cover, but the Japanese one is something that's similar.
No, it's you can't tell a cover by the size of its book.
You probably. I love that.
And it was in Japanese, and I realized, like I said at the time, I've written down in my notes anyway that there's no way that it was even a small grain of pepper has a large like spice on the tongue or something like that.
Yeah.
Which is a version of um the littlest bodies have the greatest of souls or something like that.
Yeah,
And
like a Jack Russell.
I go, that's never gonna make it because it requires an explanatory note in Japanese about what it means and what's going on. But
Yeah.
they just picked an English one, and that's really good localization. That's what you should be doing, is going one for one as much as you can, and then when it really makes no sense, pick something that's close. But what they've been doing instead, usually, is making Mimi say something stupid.
Yeah.
And I introduced Takeru's ultimate plan of asking Devimon where his friends are.
Yeah, that's his plan. He's gonna say, I'm gonna ask where Matt is.
Genius. This could never go wrong.
Anyway, so nothing really else happens. The narrator closes off and says that the fate of not only File Island but the whole digital world is in danger. So now that we know that there's more of the world, there's not just File Island. Like before, we've just known File Island and water, and that's all we've seen.
I mean,
In
it was
English,
mentioned. It was mentioned in the episode where Ty and Matt are on the ice island. Well, Matt's
yeah.
not no. Ty's whole thing was like, I need to see all the other lands just beyond this island.
I thought they were just talking about the other parts of File Island.
No, I think they were very clear about it because those islands were headed out to the other ones.
Oh yeah, right.
She's like, we'll just wait and we'll explore. It'll be great because I have gloves and a telescope.
Yeah, in the English version, TK says, I feel like a lot is going to happen between now and when I see Matt again. And I'm like, no, it's literally the next episode.
There's a bit where Devimon is once again shown to be a huge idiot at the end. He says straight up, I have this definitive masterstroke in which my plan will work flawlessly if we do this one simple thing. If we kill this kid who is alone, we'll instantly win. And then he delegates that to one Digimon only. He just says, Leomon, go do it. In fact, Ogamon specifically do nothing, which I realize now he disobeyed, right? Because it's the end of the episode, and Leomon shows up and being all creepy in the distance. And then spoiler for next episode, Ogamon shows up after being told to do nothing.
Basically, I think Ogamon's not that smart.
No, he's not. But honestly, I think the writers just forgot, and they realized that it was really dumb.
So then we see feathers floating across as the feathers we saw before, and this is sort of foreshadowing for something.
Yeah, I only realized it was foreshadowing at the end of the episode, but it was there from the middle.
Yeah, but this part was like the focus of them being, floating past the end. That was more foreshadowing than being in there before, because before there was, more of a reason for there to be there, but now it's kind of like they're still there, they're floating, it's meant to be something.
Yeah, so that's the end of Digi Baby Boom.
Jay, as a new person to Digimon, what did you think of this episode?
It was absolute bizarre nonsense for like 80% of it. And I'm sitting there going, the system doesn't make any sense. Why would things work this way? If you were, say, two Monochromon who fell off a cliff and then died, presumably, in the ocean, because they clearly can't swim, and you died and became eggs, how do your eggs get back to the toy town?
That is a really good point. But
Often, I would
I think
imagine that dying in this world would be in a situation where your egg wouldn't survive as
I
well.
I think they dissolve into data and then they go back to they turn to an egg that shows up in Toy Town.
I'm gonna say that's awfully convenient.
Well, in other seasons we see that Digimon do like just explode into data as they leave, and you can absorb that data.
You can
But yeah,
vampire their dead bodies.
yeah, basically, like just it turns into data, and you can absorb it to be powerful.
Well, that seems genius.
Mm.
Um, and yeah, there's just lots of weird stuff going on, and yeah, it was fine, I guess, in the end. But I find Takeru's character of I don't want to fight ever, even if it's the only solution, to be super. And his theory, okay, laughter will actually make Devimon just be our friend.
Yeah, I thought that was silly.
What a plan! There's no way that won't work out.
But he also decides to the best way to reunite with Matt is to ask Devimon where Matt is. Yeah.
And forgiveness for him being a huge idiot. He is 8, and I wasn't great when I was 8. It's better than this kid though.
Mm. So with the differences that you saw, did you think they were necessary?
I mean, the difference is we've discussed it most of the time. They were really good localization. Like, it was some of the best examples of localization the show's seen because when you see really, really Japanese stuff, that stuff is the most difficult to bring over because there's no context for it. The kids have no clue at all what to do with it, and it's not awkward like when they turn the Japanese the singing game, which wouldn't translate well, into just Mimi being a terrible singer because you're changing the tone of what's going on and you're sort of changing the meaning of it. But here they got everything right. They got the sumo match turned into a boxing match in its construction, which is great because that makes perfect sense. And the Japanese saying turned into a classic English saying that the kids would understand, and it gets across. The joke is a little bit different, where Patamon, instead of mishearing what was said, just doesn't get phrases. But that makes sense because he wouldn't have heard that from anyone but TK, right?
Mm.
Because they don't know what things are. They've never heard of Japan or parents, so they wouldn't know like idioms. So I'm sure that TK said it once, and Padawan's like, close enough. So it's good. That was like, as far as localization goes, that was very good. I don't think there was anything really out there. Yeah, they always add extra lines because I assume they have the voice actors around and they can. And some of those extra lines are dumb, but nothing drastic. Definitely nothing that hurt the episode particularly, I don't think.
Yeah, I completely agree. Like the the lines that they added, Phil silences, I thought were silly, and the explanation of a few things that they just wanted to explain things that were going on to the kids. I thought that was pretty unnecessary because kids aren't that dumb.
But hey, if you take the stance that they feel like they have to explain it to the American kids, like their lowest common denominatoring it, then
Mm.
it's at least it's justified in that sense because they believe that. You can't make them not believe that.
So we start off with Leomon just wanting to kill.
Yeah, and murder is a thing that the English has been trying to stay away from. And so yeah, Leomon shows up and being like, kill him. And then Ogremon shows up, as we mentioned, out of nowhere, having been told specifically not to do anything.
Yeah.
And he threatens to murder a baby. A classic heel move.
Hmm.
Just to, I'm gonna murder this baby if you don't do what I say. I'm like, okay, well, wait, actually, why would killing a Digimon be a threat in this world if when you killed it, it becomes an egg again?
I don't know. I guess it's to be menacing.
But why is it menacing? If
Also,
it'll,
you still have to kill a baby. Like that's not cool.
yeah, but it does. You're not killing it. Like death in this world isn't scary because you'll be fine.
Mm.
Especially if you're a baby and you were just in the egg yesterday. I don't know. It's weird. I guess I don't understand the mindset of the Digimon, seeing as they were also babies and they, I guess, don't have any moral code about that. because the stance of the show is that they were also born in this town. Ogamon's kind of garbage that way, huh?
Mm.
And so and I thought that would never translate. I thought they would never bring across Ogamon threatening to murder a baby, but they did. The English has him threatening to murder the baby as well. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, because
And then
you still got the little thing in the hand.
it is instantly followed by Devimon's voice saying, "Leomon, bring them to me," when it would have been murder. Like they've just done the murder thing for the baby, and now it's is when it references TK. It's like just bring him though.
Mm. I think killing would probably be much faster.
Yeah, absolutely. And obviously it would solve your problem instantly.
Definitely.
And Patamon has to run through the whole mind control thing in English because so the Americans don't get
Yeah, and he
confused.
says again, Leomon is normally a good Digimon, and we know this. Like we've been told this many times.
And if only he was on our side and he wasn't being mind controlled currently by the bad guy whose name is Devimon.
Yeah, if only these bad guys weren't bad, that'd be good.
That would actually help a lot in most pieces of media if the bad guys weren't bad. That would solve a lot of things. And let's see.
So Taichi takes Poyamon out of
Oh, yeah.
Ogamon's hand.
Well, Taichi shows up
Yep.
is the first thing. Taichi and Matt show up. And yeah, Taichi just kind of goes yoink.
That's pretty brave.
It's fairly brave, yeah. Although Ogamon's a huge idiot, so it's not actually that risky. And then Sora and Izzy
Joe.
and Mimi and Joe show up all at the
No,
same
no, no,
time.
no. Sora and Joe don't show up until later. This Mimi and
Oh,
Izzy.
well, Mimi and Izzy show up either way, and I'm like, it seems really awfully convenient that they're all essentially accidentally meeting up here at the same time. Why would they show up here, first of all, and why are they all showing up here at exactly the same time, right?
Yeah,
They were all
because
doing their own stuff on their islands.
I think it's because they wanted to all go back to the mountain because that's where that's where but the bad guys are. So I think that was just their goal, and because Tekuru was also going to the mountain, I think that they just met up and they probably heard, the fighting. Because I wouldn't imagine that Bigfoot Ogamon is quiet.
Yeah, it doesn't. He's not the most subtle.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure TK was shouting.
Yeah, that's. I guess you could say that they tracked them that way.
Mm.
Although still the timing is very convenient, because I think the stuff they were doing on their islands was very different. Like on the Bakemon island, that all happened very quickly. They went there, they fought the Bakemon, and they were just like done. It was still nighttime.
Mm.
Which means they should have shown up way earlier. Whereas Matt and Ty, we know a night was spent when they were asleep.
Yeah, well, they came in on the night, so I just thought that night was the night that they arrived.
That's entirely possible.
Mm.
So yeah, this it's just the timing seems odd. That's writing, and you go, well, they needed to hurry up the events of this episode, so whatever. It's not a big enough plot hole to complain about.
Hmm.
But I will anyway. So they fight them a bunch, and there is revealed that if you shoot more black gears into somebody, then they get more powerful.
Yep, which is convenient.
It's not only convenient, but obviously, why didn't you just stuff Leomon with black gears from the start?
That is actually a very good
stick
point.
17 black gears into him or more. There's no reason not to. It'll make him more powerful to do what you want him to do, and it's not like he was short of black gears, right? Because there's
Mm.
tons of them. If you sacrificed one moving bit of island, which is a plan, by the way, that makes no sense. The breaking up of the island has not achieved anything, I don't think, besides separating the kids. But you could do that without doing that. You could just throw them into the ocean. Um, but there's a million black ears down there, and just put all of them into Leomon, and he'll be huge.
Yeah, but he's also quite scary.
Yeah, he's a little, but that's fine. Make him more scary. Talk about how Devimon's plan doesn't make any sense, and never has, and continues to show new facets of why it doesn't make sense.
That's actually a really good point.
What a terrible bad guy.
Well, it's 13 episodes in. We're pretty at this point. He's probably not going to be the main bad guy. But I mean, I guess
Well, he could have been.
they wouldn't. They might not have known that. Like the kids. But
Yeah.
he's not
Obviously,
a good
the
bad
kids
guy.
wouldn't know.
Yeah, I meant the kids watching. Sorry, not the kids in the show.
Oh, right, yeah.
So Ogremon says the best line ever, which is "You singed my beautiful hair."
How dare you? No, hasn't anyone ever told you not to play with fire? Someone might get hurt,
Yeah,
namely
mainly me.
me.
Cause yeah, that's said instead of "You singed my beautiful hair."
His hair is so mank.
I think I prefer the "You singed my beautiful hair" line.
I like the idea that he cares about his appearance, given that his face is just teeth.
Yeah, he's a goblin. They're pretty cool.
No, he's a Warhammer orc.
Yeah, it can be.
No, the goblins in that are way smaller.
He's a Magic the Gathering goblin.
They're not green.
You can have green goblins.
Only in Spider-Man.
And in the Len music video,
Len from Digimon.
the best Digimon character.
I would say the 8th Digidestined, but I guess should be the 9th.
Anyway, so we went once Mimi and Izzy arrive. They say use your Digivice. So Taichi uses his Digivice on Leomon and he becomes good again. And then they sit down and have like a leisurely discussion.
In which we learn that the plural of Digimon is Digimons.
Yeah.
How many Digimons is it? Like, it feels weird. It feels like it should be sheep. Like,
Well, I know that there's a Digimon called Starmon and Pikmon, and when they're together, it's Pikmons with a Z and Starmons with a Z.
that's dumb. I'm not gonna defend that one. That's dumb.
Well, that's like in Cross Wars, and a lot of people don't like considering that as a show, but I like it. I think it's one of the best. Adventure's probably as now I'm rewatching Adventure. I think Adventure's one of my least favorite series.
If that's the case, I think I'm glad because we're at the end of the first arc, and I'm going, ugh. If this is what it's gonna be like going forward, I'm not looking forward to it at all.
Yeah, like I think the different series do get better. Like Adventure's all right, but it's not the best. Like now I'm rewatching. It's kind of like, yeah, it's not the best. Anyway, we're getting off
It's true.
the
We
Digimon
we
trail of
we just
thought.
see Devimon killing Ogamon, except not really.
Yeah, he absorbs him.
And then we get the final battle already.
Oh wait, before that, before when they say that they want to do the final battle, we have Mimi, and she says that she's scared, but she wants to go home. Which I think is pretty great because she's scared, but she wants to overcome that fear because she wants to defeat the darkness and she wants to go home. I feel like I heard what she said in English somewhere here, but it
She
must have been
wants to
so
do some
bad.
killer shopping.
Yep, that's the line. I forgot to type it down because it was so dumb, and I was just so awestruck with the line. But yeah, she wants to get home so she can do some killer shopping, not so she doesn't die.
To give some context to the listeners, there was a bit earlier in the week when May was watching it for the first time, and she sends me a message, and it says, Mimi's not so bad in this episode. And then, probably 2 minutes later, oh no, I was wrong. She just hadn't said any lines yet.
Yeah. That's basically. I was like, hey, she's not that bad, but then yeah, then she spoke. But of course, she's fine in the Japanese version. Just the English version just makes her so much worse.
It's
Like
really bad.
anyway, so we get to our final battle, and something I noticed is this episode is just fighting.
It's a lot of just fighting.
Yeah. So they're able. Then that's when Sora and Joe show up, and they say, "Oh, you guys better digivolve." So we have like a mass digivolution. And this is the first time we've seen them able to digivolve so shortly after they've previously evolved. Like this is sort of a hint they have gotten stronger. They don't just need to evolve to get stronger because they're able to evolve so quickly after they've already evolved. And usually previously they said, "I can't evolve. I'm still weak from the last battle."
That, and because they were evolved for the the previous one without their kids being directly in danger.
Yeah,
Like if we've been shown in the episode with Kentaramon in the temple or whatever, that if you're in danger or one of the other ones is in danger, it doesn't matter because it's not your kid.
yeah.
And I understand in Matt's case where maybe if TK was threatened, okay, Gurumon go, whatever. But Greymon and everyone else, and Chiku Chiku Bang Bang, which really should be its name. Um,
Instead of needle spray or Digimon needle spray.
no, I mean its Digimon name should be Chiku Chiku Bang Bang.
Oh, Togemon.
Yep,
Mm.
Chiku Chiku Bangmon. Um, but yeah, they evolved anyway. without having any connection to danger to their own kids. So it's obviously expanding out the format. And also, yeah, it would get really annoying if every episode like I'm hungry though. And then yeah, there's a lot of fighting. And Devimon is shown like if he was any good, he would have instantly won this fight because he shoots a big energy blast at the kids and hits all of them, but doesn't hurt any of them.
Yeah.
He's shooting his energy blast, but it's just wind. It's just wind. What does it
Yeah.
do?
Well, it looks like it's when Takeru and Patamon are thrown against the cliff. I think looks quite painful.
Yeah, but that's just wind. You don't need a. He could have just blown. He just like blown with his face. He doesn't need to use a special Digimon move to shoot wind out of his hand.
That's a
Black,
good point.
black and red laser wind.
Yeah, but it looks menacing.
Yeah, but that's not gonna win you the fight.
Yeah, you could scare them off.
No, he's not gonna scare them. He came to them.
That is a good
You know what
point.
would have been a really good plan?
What?
Before using your wind attack, let them climb the mountain to you so that they're more tired, and then you can use your wind attack to blow them off the edge of the mountain.
That is a yeah. The end done. They're gone.
Not fly down to them, use your wind attack that does nothing when they're standing up against a wall.
Anyways, so Takeru's put in danger and Patamon starts crying because he can't evolve. And then Devimon grabs them both. And then suddenly Digivolution.
They really sandbagged this one. They managed to make it last a whole 13 episodes before we saw this mysterious evolution.
Yeah, but it's everyone's looking at it and they're all gawking and Patamon becomes Angemon and Sora says Angemon. But in English, that's super cool. Yamato, that's Takeru's Digimon? Matt, not bad. The little guy really had it in him. Mimi, just like an angel. Moo nice hair, good color. And then Takeru, Patamon evolved. TK, I want to take him home with me. Good job, team.
That's really weird, actually, because it's not like a big animal or anything. It's just like a 30-year-old man.
Oh no, he's not 30. He's like,
He's probably 25 or something.
yeah, he's like. Also, this brings us back to a conversation we had in an earlier episode about how holy characters have their
Yes,
face covered with, metal. So, what do you think?
there's a reference to holy power, and this angel has a big metal plate on its face. And he and Ogamon is inside Devimon, protecting his like weak point or whatever, and Angemon defeats him with a giant golden.
Rod. When he's getting the power from all the other Digimon and the Digivices, we see a late 90s 3D Digivice that looks like something out of a PS1 game.
Speaking of terrible animation, did you notice that when Ogamon gets thrown aside by whatever power it is, and he blasts through some trees, but the hole that's left is clearly a hole in like rocks?
I didn't notice that.
Like it's all gray inside and craggy, like it would be rocks, but they're clearly trees he just went through.
So then the Devimon and Angemon have a bit of a discussion about
Angemon?
how they're fighting, and Devimon says, "I'll crush you to death" in the Japanese version, but that's scary. In the English version, "Come here, pretty boy." And so then he uses his attack, which is called Heaven's Knuckle, and this just becomes "I'll stop you!" Aye! In the dub. I'd like to point out that his official dub attack is called Hand of Fate,
It's pretty cool.
not I'll stop you, aye.
That's a way better name, actually. If you yell, I'll stop you, and it always works, then you may as well yell it.
Also, something I noticed is that when Patamon evolves, he's like in the English version, he sounds really concerned. He sounds like Patamon Digivolve too. He just doesn't sound happy.
In which version?
In the English version, he sounds
That's weird,
frightened.
actually, because we got all the. I was going to mention this last episode, but all the internal monologue we got of Patamon, which just disappeared in English, was about his concern that if he digivolves, he'll change in nature so much that he won't relate to to TK anymore, which makes sense, and that's I mean it doesn't actually, but it's fine. Like that's its internal logic, so that's okay. But we didn't get that in English as much, so the fact that he sounds concerned and the voice acting goes that way would make much more sense had we been given that earlier context. But they
Mhm.
specifically removed it.
Yeah. Anyway, so Angemon starts to dissolve as Devimon does. So they're both going to die, and then Devimon says, "You're so foolish using your all your power to destroy me. I'm not the worst evil. There are worse Digimon out there." And then he goes away, and then Angemon says in the Japanese version, "As long as you wish it, we'll meet again." And in the English version, "Don't worry, TK. I'll come back if you want me to." So what if TK doesn't want him to come back?
I mean, I don't think that's likely. What's a better question is why would Devimon tell them that there's other evil out there? If they didn't know already, then advantage the evil by not telling them.
Yeah,
And then it
I
would be a
wouldn't tell him.
surprise.
I'll say, "Oh, that's it now. All done. I was the last one. You
Like,
got me."
congratulations, you won, kids. I was just testing you.
All right. So what? Then Ogremon and Leomon have an exchange, which is in the Japanese version. Devimon was he defeated? Says Ogremon, and then Leomon says, "That's right. Shall we fight again?" And Ogremon says, "No, no more." And then in the English version, this is Ogremon saying, "With Devimon out of the way, I can take over now." And Leomon says, "Hello, you've forgotten about me?"
And
And
then
Ogremon says, "Leomon, get me out of here.
and,
Why can't the bad guys ever win?"
and then runs away like a coward. It's such a
Yeah.
stupid exchange.
When Mimi hears about there being more evil, she says, "I don't want to fight again. I've had enough." But in the English version, Moo says, "I don't want to have to fight again." Oh, I think I broke a nail. So, oh,
That's why she
why?
doesn't want to fight anymore, because
Yeah.
she's defeated already.
Then Jenai shows up and Tai says, "Excuse me, sir, would you be so kind as to tell us what's going on?"
And he's like, "You're the Digidestin, though, right?" And that's it. That's where it
Yep.
ends. Is this
All
just
right.
is this just a guy? Like, is that a real human, or is this Jedi
Explained.
Mon?
Don't worry, it'll be explained. What did you think of this episode?
I mean, it was fine. It was mostly fighting. And it preceded the plot significantly. I couldn't believe actually that there was final battle now, because this is what episode 13 of
Yep.
54.
Yep.
So yeah, I think you've alluded to the fact that there are other evils around, and I think that I think I've seen stuff when I was really young that but maybe there was other seasons, so who knows? So yeah, I feel like there's more. I felt like this would go on longer. I felt like the shonen thing of like the bad guy sticks around forever and taunts you in the distance was gonna happen, but no, they just killed him, and that seems odd. You know, I think well, I think it was stupid. I'm not gonna lie about that. I think it was stupid that TK was like, we're gonna make him laugh and be friends. At least they put forward this idea that maybe you can win without fighting. But no, the very next episode, let's just kill him. Just instantly kill this guy
Mm.
with fighting from TK actually.
So I liked this episode, but I think I liked the Digibaby Boom better because this episode was just fighting and that's all it was, and which is fun, but there wasn't much plot, there wasn't much interaction. It was pretty cool when Patamon digivolved. I thought that was a pretty good moment. I didn't think that the line changes that were made in the English version were completely necessary about how everyone stays their stereotype.
You're just
Sora is cool and
you're just upset that Mimi showed up.
but she could have been normal. Like her reaction is, pretty cool. She's saying, "Oh, that's like an angel." I mean, yeah, it is, Captain Obvious. Thanks, but that's still a fine response. Don't know why they had to change it to her talking about their hair color.
Because his hair's so nice and beautiful and silky smooth. Yeah, and that so yeah, I don't like how much fighting there was in the episode, but at least okay, you know what? At least it did what should happen, which is the bad guy's a huge idiot, so he gets like basically insta killed by the kids.
Well, not necessarily insta killed because there is some fight before, but the other Digimon are pretty useless until Patamon evolves.
As far as this fight should have gone, with all the tools that Devimon has, where he should have instantly won. Actually, there's a line really early in this episode I was meant to mention where Izzy very directly identifies, look, we have these digivices. We're unstoppable.
Yeah.
They're unbeatable. You can't beat these kids when they can just destroy black gears at a distance. And we are aware that Devimon has black gears inside of him because he, at the very least, has Ogamon. You know what? I'm surprised they didn't do like hold out the digivice to kill him. Because I'm sure it would have. At the very least, we know it can mind control him to be good.
Yeah. Well, not really mind control to be good, just more like cleanse of evil.
Kind of. Yeah.
So what differences did you notice, and did you think they were justified?
It was a lot of fighting. I didn't, besides Moo Moo, I didn't notice a whole lot of differences, personally. But you know what? It was very late when I watched these. I had just come back from a concert and it was deep in the AM. So honestly, especially when watching the English version of this and thinking of changes, I started to lose it. One of the big changes that I've got written down, which I'll just mention, and it just it doesn't mean a whole lot, but it's just when Patamon is fighting Leomon right at the beginning,
Mm.
and in the Japanese he just keeps shooting. He's like air shot, air, and then he gets interrupted. Whereas in English, he goes air shot. Oh no, it didn't work. Instantly give up.
Yeah. Well, he tries really hard, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does, and I'll give him that. But yeah, I don't remember a whole lot actually about the big ones, about the big differences.
Well, there were line changes, but like nothing too drastic except for Moo Moo lines.
Yeah, well, the content of the show, there's not much to change. It's all fighting, so they don't have to give you anything for that.
They still managed to add dumb lines though.
Oh yeah, well, they'll always do that because they'll find a silent moment and fill it there.
Yeah. Or just anything meaningful that Mimi ever says.
Yeah, I mean, who needs her to say no, who needs her to say anything intelligent?
Mm.
That wouldn't put forward the storyline at all.
So which episode did you prefer?
I guess in hindsight, I did prefer the first episode, the Digi Baby Boom, just because
Mm.
I don't know, it was more enjoyable. Like even if like mom was kind of dumb, I enjoyed the stupid like sumo wrestle rope tournaments that went on.
Mm.
Whereas like although alternatively, I really did like when Devimon died because he sucked. Like he was so overpowered and he had everything going for him and he couldn't do it. And I can't respect a huge idiot as a villain.
Yeah, I think I preferred the first episode as well because like the fighting is good as I said, but like it's all it was fighting. It was like 22 minutes of fighting.
Yeah.
It's okay to have some fighting, but I like it when it's that short few minutes of fighting that we've had in previous episodes, and the rest has been plot, like we had in Biomon Gets Firepower. Like I thought that was a decent amount of fighting to plot. Well, in the Japanese version, in the English version, it was basically waffling on and fighting.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, like definitely that sort of plot and a little bit of fighting is good. So of the new characters introduced, Elecmon, the old man, and Angemon, what did you think?
Okay, well, the old man's an old man, and I've seen him like twice, and he's just Master Roshi from Dragon Ball Z. I've got nothing else about him, no characterization. He just looks kind of dumb, and his hairstyle is stupid. Uh, then uh,
Elecmon?
we got Elecmon, whose design is fine. Um, he's, it's in line with the other children Digimon, I guess, in that they've got the same shape. I think that its personality was fun. Its design was all right. The peacock tail thing weirds me out only because they put an emphasis on it when it was completely meaningless. Like they didn't need to. He shoots electricity. Why is he threatening people with his peacock tail?
Mm.
But yeah, like whatever, it's fine. And Angemon looks awesome. It's a very similar design school to Devimon of like let's put more stuff on this guy, which is very late 90s.
Mm.
But he looked good. And the I'm still trying to figure out what's going on with this like faceplate holy stuff.
I think he looks pretty cool with the cross. Like I liked Angemon as a kid because I used to have him on my Digimon pet because it's the only one I could get. Gabumon would always evolve into Angemon for some
The
reason for me
cross does
because I
imply
didn't
that
really look into it.
the cross does imply that there is a Digi Jesus out there somewhere.
And I think it's a good comparison to have against Devimon. Like we have this thing that's completely evil, and they're quite similar in their designs in the way that sort of one is the complete opposite of the other. So that's how they're similar. They're sort of
Oh, for sure.
they're complete opposites. Like one is imagine an evil guy, go, and the other one is imagine a good guy, go. It's sort of like they're polar opposites.
Yeah. Um, it's fine. Like I'm not as excited about him because he instantly died.
Well, he was there for like a few episodes, like what 10 episodes?
Angemon?
I thought you meant Devimon. Yeah,
Also,
Angemon. Yeah,
no, I've already established.
yeah.
Maybe episode
Angemon
how much
comes
I
back
hate
though.
him now.
Angemon comes back,
Yeah, I hate Devimon now.
obviously.
It's
He becomes an
terrible.
egg. Yeah. So, like, we know that he comes back because we see him in the egg, and obviously TK wants him to come back.
Yeah, that makes sense. But when they had like one thing they were holding out on the audience, which was Angemon, and he showed up actually fairly soon.
Mm.
And what a mystery it was what he would turn into.
Yeah, it wasn't like it
They
was
didn't
hinted.
foreshadow it at all.
Well, he could have become the pig because he's not a pig TK.
Hey, Oinkmon with the power to oink.
Wink.
Alright, everybody, we'll see you on the next episode of Azumanga Daioh. Departure to a new continent?
Which is in English, departure for a new continent.
So different. And Etamon, the stage mounting of evil.
Or in English, the dark network of Patamon. I wonder who this Patamon is. Oh, also, I just want to let you guys know that we have a poll on our Tumblr, which is simply vote between the dub or the Japanese version. And, like, this will be an ongoing poll, but I just thought I'd let you guys know about it. I was going to mention it earlier in the episode, but it, left my mind. All right.
So it's which one is better?
Yeah, which one's better?
Well, that seems simple enough.
Well, some people might prefer the English dub. Like, it's.
I'm gonna
Anyway,
vote for the English.
so we'll come back if you want us to.